It's my job to keep you awake for at least an hour, and I think I will be able to do that. The applause you were hearing, and of course, when something starts to not working, then have to do it this way, I'm afraid. Yeah. The applause you were hearing was, of course, for AC/DC. Hi, this is me as well. I could tell you my name, but probably you cannot pronounce my name the way it should be pronounced. You did a brave job, to be honest, so call me JJ, that will work. I work for the government in the Netherlands since half a year. Before that, I was 26 years consultant. And I didn't do anything with testing in the last half a year, so I'm not sure if I'm happy there. But right now I'm the senior advisor of the CIO office. I wrote 11 books. 11 books? You don't know one? Sorry. 10 of the 11 books are only in Dutch. Who's Dutch in this? Okay, let's forget about it. The 11th book, by the way, has been translated in English, German, Dutch, Spanish, and even in Chinese. So even Phil has no reason not to read it. Two important disclaimers. The first one, the keynote is, I'm not a representative of the Dutch government when I'm standing here. It's not the opinion of the Dutch government. So it's my personal opinion. I'm here on a personal trip. The second one is that the first version of Highway to Hell I did together with someone else, Mandy Bruin. She couldn't come over, sorry. So I want to have a special attention for her. Why this keynote? I've been to about 60, 70 conferences in the last 20 years. And most of the talks are talks about things that were going well, things that were successful. I did this project and I did it this way, and you should do it as well. And then you will be successful. So success stories, best practices. Or maybe someone has a vision, we should try this, and then all our problems will be solved. I've seen a lot of projects fail, and it's not because they did not apply best practices, but they also applied bad practices. Things you should not try. And in this last keynote of the day, I will tell you 10 very short stories about things that could go wrong, but also how you can take the exit from a highway to hell, how to prevent that from happening. So that's this keynote. And one last thing before I start. The tips I will give, they will be applicable in both waterfall and agile. Today, I heard two very wise women say very wise things. They shared some things, and like Heather said today, it can work in both waterfall and agile. Waterfall and agile is so different. Well, according to Linda Wilkinson, and I hope I will paraphrase her correctly, the way we test has not been changed in the past 40 years. Technology might have changed, but in a sense, testing hasn't changed. Testing is still investigation of a system under test, and we report about it, and around it, very much happened with multidisciplinary teams, with agile, with other ways of planning, etc., etc. But in a sense, testing is still the same. So, and I will give some examples how you can apply things in agile and waterfall. Okay, let's go to the 10 bad practices. Is there any manager in the room? Oh, I'm sorry for you, sorry for you, sorry for you. Only 3. You may leave the room if you want to. The first bad practice. The manager or scrum master or product manager, program manager, whatever, who decides on the way of working. Yeah, I'm the product manager here, and I think you should test it in this way. And I'm the boss, so you better do that. I go with the top puppeteer manager, someone who's trying to take control of everything and who's trying to be in the lead of everything. If this is a good manager. I think managers should hire good craftsmen, should hire good testers, should hire good developers. Okay, it's good to set goals. It's good to facilitate how we should work together. But please, I'm a professional. I'm a craftsman. So leave it up to me how to do things. But this puppeteer manager sometimes has these very limited vision. How to deal with this manager? When this happens to me, I was very surprised. Hey, I didn't know you had any knowledge or experience in testing. Tell me about it. You don't have any knowledge and experience in testing. Well, as a matter of fact, I do, about 30 years. And I would do it differently. Are you interested? I never met a manager who says no after that question. And when he says, okay, you would do it differently, how would you do it? I always start with the product risk assessment. If I say product risk assessment, there's always an agilist saying, oh, you're old school. Suppose I'm in an agile situation, I don't call it product risk assessment, I call it a customer value poker. That's 3 agile words, so 3-0 for me. And in a multidisciplinary team, we estimate the probability we have mistakes, so how technically complex it is, and the value for the customer. You might notice it's exactly the same as a product risk assessment. But by calling it customer value poker, they say, hey, that's a good agile practice. So, as a matter of fact, it's the same, of course. I always start with that thing. And most of the puppeteer managers don't start with it. So by then they say, okay, but why do you start with this product risk assessment or customer value poker? Well, because we don't have a tremendous amount of time, we have limited time, so we have to make choices, what to test first and what to test later. Hey, that's a good idea. Okay, so we start with that. Shall we do the way of working for testing? Please leave it up to them. And most managers, they start to realize that maybe they should trust their engineers. And suppose this engineer is doing a bad job. Send them to a course, send them to a conference, send her to a course or conference, coach this person, help this person. And if he or she is still doing a bad job, fire. Because we need good people in our team, and we don't need puppeteer managers. That was the first one. The second one, oh, we don't need testers. The developer, oh, yeah. There's someone recognizing it, yeah. We don't need testers. We've got good developers. They will test, the team will test, the user will test, the product owner will test. Well, I wanted to ask, is someone recognizing it? But yes, at least someone is recognizing it. And I always react, yeah, of course, no problem. Everybody can test. Of course, everybody can test. But not as good as me, because I'm a professional tester. Because I know how to do a product risk assessment, I know my test design techniques, I know how to make a good test design, I know how to report things. So yes, I think developers should test. Yes, I also think that users should test. But if it's a complicated system and an important system, I think we should do it in a professional way. And then, of course, you get the question, how do you recognize a professional? Well, I've been through my booklet, my books, and all these books I've read or written. So, yes, it is a profession. Test management, test design techniques. And I'm sorry about the next sheet. When I was doing my last preparation, which was 5 o'clock at night, because I'm still in the Dutch time zone, I noticed that this sheet is in Dutch, and well, most of the words are actually pretty good in English. But all these techniques, all these tools, all these ways of testing, all these non-functional ways of testing are familiar for me. And ask the user, ask the developer, they got no idea. They will, of course, execute some test cases, absolutely, and they will find defects, but they will not test as deep as a professional tester because professional testers know their stuff. But earlier I said yes, the developer and the user should test, and then I get sometimes the question, who is going to test what? And well, I was looking for an example, and I found the Cannegieter bridge. Is it pronounced right?
It's not as good as my Dutch.
It was a brave try. The Cannegieter bridge is a bridge, and I always measure it in meters. So I recalculated it in feet. It's 1,400 feet long, and it's over a gap of about 1,000 feet. And it's made of glass. So you're walking, there's 1,000 feet below you, and you see through it. How would you make this lady at how would it make you feel? No? No? Does anyone say, oh, I will be the first one? Oh, yeah. Are you tired of life or? No? Okay. I would like to know how did they test it? Any suggestions from the room? How do you test the bridge?
Before you get the robot testers.
The robot testers. Yeah, at the back of the room they will sure share that one. I will come back to that later.
Can you do automatic testing?
Sorry?
Can you do automatic testing?
Automatic, yeah. Well, I would first start with a glass plate. The glass plates, it's not totally glass, it's glass plates within iron frame. On one glass plate, four persons can stand, so you can calculate how much kilos, or what do you measure kilos, weight it has to hold. That's what I call a unit test. Great that it can hold, let's say, 300 kilos, but when it falls with the glass plate and everything above it down, then you have a problem. So the next test would be a unit integration test. Does this unit hold very well within the total bridge? And then we get a system test. And here is a fundamental difference. The first test can very well be done by the developer. I would support it, absolutely. But this guy with the hammer, he's thinking different than a developer. The developer is thinking, how can I make it? That guy is thinking, how can I break it? It's just a different way of looking at the same bridge. So this cannot be done by the developer. The user doesn't really have time, it's not professional in testing. So this is done by a professional tester. And he will think up front, how am I going to do this? Are we ready? Can we go into production? No. No? Why not? We did a lot of testing.
What about the cables?
Yeah, the different components, absolutely. We also have to do non-functional testing. Send a car over it. Does it already feel better here at the front? Are you willing to go over the bridge yet? Or no? Okay. She's getting confident. Oh, this is great. What's the goal of testing? Letting the user have confidence that we can go into production. Wow, we're having success. Are we ready yet? No, the sheet is not full. I'm fully aware of it. But have you got any idea what the next test will be?
Stress testing.
Stress testing. Yeah.
People jump up and down.
You strain the bridge, it's going to go apart the next one.
End-to-end testing. The bridge is tested by itself. But people have to be able to park their car, to buy a ticket, to get on the bridge, but also to get off the bridge. So it needs to fit within the environment. And here it went wrong with the sound because there was something plugged in which was not in the test. And then the acceptance test. Well, we see here two young, not very confident young ladies. If as a professional tester I look at the user's testing, I say, oh, yeah, it's a test, but not as deep and not as good as the test we did before. Because, hey, we're the professionals. What's the goal of the acceptance test? It's not to find bugs. My personal goal is that they will not find real bugs. Some small things can be making our color great. But pure for confidence. So that would probably be your, okay? Okay. Are we ready yet? Testing in production. If you go to the internet and you will look for the Cannegieter bridge, you will find out that it has been closed because there were hair cracks after a couple of months of usage. So no problem with the glass, anything, but within the bridge itself. The wind was changing because of the bridge, and therefore the engineering models were wrong. And therefore they had to change, they had to make it, they had to improve the bridge. So yes, they did testing in production because production was different from testing. And I'm a fan of testing in production, but apart from other things. This sounds pretty waterfall, but hey, no. Unit test, unit integration test is part of what developers do. The system test, the preparation should be done by professional testers, QAs. The execution can be done by the team. Non-functional test and end-to-end testing is in some situations so complex you cannot do it within the sprint. The unit test, unit integration, system test should be done within the sprint. Non-functional testing, end-to-end testing, and sometimes acceptance testing are sometimes done outside of the sprint. You want to have it within the sprint, but pretty often it doesn't work. Which brings me to testing in production, number 3. And this is what testing in production. Whoa. I wanted to say this is what testing in production looks like. What is this guy doing? It's good there's no one on the other side of the road. It seems a bit like luck, doesn't it? But, oh my! Oh, come on. No. Okay, so still no one on the other side of the road. So, yeah.
Just a hot swap.
I don't know how you feel about this, but this is what testing and solving bugs in production looks like. Does this give a warm feeling? No. Yeah. So you do not simply test things in production. I'm a fan of testing in production, but on top of professional testing. Why do we need testing in production? Because production will be different compared to what we expected it to be. And we will get information which we can't get by professional testers of non-functional testing or users. Do more clients buy our products? The conversion rate is higher? Do they really understand what we're doing? What we're trying to achieve? So yes, we should do testing in production. There's quite a debate. Is it testing in production or monitoring in production? I don't care. It adds value, but it's not the only test we're doing, I hope. So I literally sent this one to a manager once when he said, we'll do testing in production, and he got the message. That was good. Speed up testing. Who heard that one before? That's quite a lot. Yeah. suppose we're waterfall, you got a month for testing, and development needs more time, so you've got 2 weeks. Or no, we do all the testing at Friday afternoon on the last day of the sprint, something like that. And main reason why we have to speed up testing quite often is that planning is based on these kind of plannings. This is a pretty beautiful highway, isn't it? It's 8 lines, which is in the Netherlands only 1 highway, actually. And it's new and it's empty. So on a highway like this, if you make a planning for this, you could drive 160 kilometers, that's about 100 miles per hour. No problem whatsoever. So we make a planning based on this. But if you look closely, it's not a picture. It's not real. It's a drawing. So we made this planning based on something that is not real. And if you look at reality, our road looks more like this. So, no, we won't make 100 miles per hour. There's a second reason why speeding up testing doesn't work, and that's if you put time pressure on people, then they tend to make more mistakes. So developers and testers, we have to find these mistakes, we have to restore them, and we have to retest it. So if we speed up testing, we need more time. That was not what I meant. Yeah, but really, it's pretty difficult to do the same job in the same time. This is also, there's some music behind it, so to keep you awake. This is also a little movie I sent to a manager once who said we have to speed up testing, and it makes very clear that this is made by a craftsman, someone who can really draw very well. And if you look at the picture, whoa, this is beautiful. Maybe I should put the sound of, no, sorry. This is different than, well, I'll tell you why is it not coming? Waarom komt het niet in beeld? Ja. Sorry. Most of the time I draw these 2 small drawings. If you invest more in testing, the completeness, coverage, and correctness of the information will be higher, or the risk will be lower. So if you go to the left, the risk is higher, or the amount of information, completeness, and coverage will be lower. So so what you actually see is you can only speed up testing by testing less. And there's always this, product manager or scrum master who says, please work more efficiently. And then I say, please, could you stop insulting me? You gave me, yeah, I really said this a couple of times. You gave me a month in waterfall, or let's say 100 hours in the case of agile for testing. And of course, I took the most efficient way to test as much as possible within that given period of time. So by implying that I could work more efficiently when I got half the time, that implies that I would not deliver a decent job in the first place. And of course I would do that. So my only choice is to not test some parts or test it less deep. And by the way, you took that decision. You tell me which parts I will not test. And pretty often they said, okay, you get the same amount of time. It works, really. Give them the responsibility to make the choices. Give that person who says, you get half the time of testing, give him or her the responsibility to say, okay, then we don't do security testing. Sorry, Linda. Or then we don't do performance testing. Sorry, Leandro. And then they see that it's actually about risk. Which risk are you prepared to take? And then the real deal comes up, and they sometimes decide not to do it. Number 5, 6, 7. Where am I? Oh yeah, we only use standard components. So why should we test? We have got standard components, and they seem to work well. I've found a couple of little movies about standard components, and we're in America actually. So I've got no idea what that got to do with it. We're going to do an interface test, and oops. Maybe you're thinking by now, oh, he found a movie. Yeah, well, to be honest, I found several movies. And here we do a unit test. Ah, it works. Great. This is not a unit test. And this is one of my favorites. You should not be able to leave the room, and oops. They're all standard components. Come on, what can go wrong? Yeah, but there are components from different vendors. So if you got components from the same vendor, then it should go well. Okay. The fact that a component is working in a certain situation, in a certain at a certain company within a certain system doesn't mean it works in another system. So of course you don't have to test the component itself. Of course, in most cases you don't have to test it, but always test the system. When about an hour ago, I was sitting with this nice lady and I was thinking, maybe I should change my presentation and go to 9 best practices. I've heard this one about 4 times today. So I thought, let's get rid of it. But the way I explain why you cannot automate everything is different than what I heard today. So, by the way, I stole it from someone else. It's Martin Jensen. It's a brilliant blog. So, if you want to know more about it, you should read the blog. The first thing you say when someone says automate everything is, well, the number of test cases is infinite. I can always come up with new test cases, no problem whatsoever. So, by the way, 100%. Yeah, but then we should make an analysis. What are the valuable testers? At this moment in time, I already made clear that you need testers in your project, even if you have automated everything. Because someone has to make the analysis, what are valuable tests and what are not valuable tests. To do so, you need to make a good test design. To do so, you need coverage techniques and test design techniques. So you need professional testers, even if you have automated all the valuable tests. But to be honest, a lot of tests could only be done once. I've been on this huge project. We were making a trading platform, and there were some pages that would most probably not change during the whole period of the usage of this platform, the more legal stuff, etc. So we tested it very well by hand, because we tested once, and we only test if the page opens or not. So, but the content of it, we will only test it once. Why automate it? Automation is extra above manual testing. You first test the test case, you first execute the test case manually so that you know that the test case is good, and then you automate it. So it costs extra. And to prevent us from spending too much money, we're going to decide which test cases are relevant for automation and which are not. Then there are some test cases which are very hard or even impossible to automate. Sometimes things happen with timestamps, or it has an API which looks at the weather, and then the system reacts differently. Sometimes it's really hard to automate things. So if it's only a feature which is relevant once a year, maybe you should test it manually once a year. So at the end, what you want to test is much smaller than what you can or will test. So automate everything. This is the fourth time today, sorry, but the way I explain it is different. It doesn't work. And this sheet also works in a non-testing environment. I forgot the numbering, sorry. Testing is only bug hunting. I love bug hunting. It's great, don't you? Yeah, I see some people. We're smiling because I was dancing or because of you loving bug hunts? Okay, it's clear what your thoughts are. I love a bug hunt safari. Friday afternoon with the whole team. 25 points if you get a system failure. 10 points if you got a serious defect, and 1 point for the non-serious defects, so the minor defects, major, minor, that's fun. But when I had about 5 years of experience, I got a very, very hard lesson that I was not a professional tester. I want to tell you the story about Task Coach. Task Coach is built by a friend of mine, Frank Niesing, also from the Netherlands. Frank is a very good system developer, but he was not so good in time management. Time management was really something he was having problems with. So he read all kinds of books and he tried all kinds of tools, but like I said, he's a system developer, so he built his own tool. That's what system developers do. And he built Task Coach. You can still download it if you have problems with time management. It will really help. And Frank said, "Hey, Jaap, JJ, you're a professional tester, aren't you?" Yeah, I got my CPB, so I'm a professional. So he asked me to test it, and I found 16 defects. So I said, "Frank, you're a nice guy. Can't go into production. I found 16 defects." And he looked at the defects and said, "Okay, I go into production tomorrow. Hey, it's your decision if you want to go into production." It's 16 defects. Oh my. These were the ratings after 100 people, 101 actually. He tried to hit the button at 100, but it was 101. And the 3 persons who gave it a bad rating was not because of the defects. And 95% said it was a great tool. And I thought, what did I miss? What I missed was that I was a bug hunter. I want to find bugs. And a bug shows a lack of quality. I wasn't thinking in value. With the bugs, you can use Task Coach very well. It were bugs like you have to fill in this data and a certain step in process, and in another process you have to fill in the same data. So why not retrieve it from the database? Or misspellings or things. You can improve your time management skills with Task Coach even with these defects. It's about quality, it's about value. The features worked. So that was a very hard lesson for me from this developer saying, "Oh, okay, I go into production." I was thinking in bugs, not in value. And with tests, we should try to show the value or the lack of value. And if the lack of value is higher than the value when we go into production, then we should not go into production. That was really a mind shift for me. Testing is not about finding bugs. I love bug hunting. I live in the Netherlands, so don't invite me for it. But in the Dutch version, I say, invite me for it. but it's all about quality. So after we find the bugs, we should really look closely. What does it say about the features and about the value? Oh yeah, this is also a nice one. The supplier will test. Good idea? No? Okay, then we go to the next one. No, like the Chinese said, one picture says more than 1,000 words. That's not me at the bottom. That's not me. That's not me. No, there are suppliers that promise more than they do, especially when it comes to testing. So, and of course, you can do audits at their place, but at the end of the day, you also have to be honest that every organization, every implementation is unique. So, of course, SAP has been installed and used with many companies, but there's no second one of your company. So there's no mirror for your company, and the choices you make, the way you implement it is unique. And at the end of the day, when I'm a customer of your organization and it doesn't work, I'm not satisfied, and I'm not satisfied with you, not with your supplier. I don't care about your supplier. You give me a service, and it should work. So you better test it. Last one. Oh, we don't need test design techniques. There it is again. It's old school. That's not old school. Absolutely not. I think we need test design techniques because the most important quality measure for testing, before we go into production, of course, is test coverage. And I don't know how to measure test coverage without using test design techniques. Maybe I was a bit brutal about ICQB. They taught me test design techniques, and I still use them. Okay, the last half year, not until half a year ago, I still use test design techniques. I don't know how to make a good professional test design without things like this. So yes, we are professional testers. So yes, we should use test design techniques. But how do you deal with the situation where they say, "Oh, this takes a lot of time," and working software over just design techniques or something? Then I've got two questions. I thought we were going to do this professionally, and professional testers use their test design techniques. They know coverage. They know how much percentage of the functional path through the systems are being covered or not, and you report about it. Or how are we going to know the quality of our testing? So how do we know our risks? Could be another question you could ask. Which brings me, very long time, my top 10 of bad practices. When the ME started, we had a top 16, so we had to limit it a little bit. Maybe you also have some bad practices. To summarize it, I think it's very important. Keep looking tough. Okay, I can do the testing in half the time. What I'm going to tell you, I did it once. My relationship with that particular project manager is not so good anymore. He said, "You have to do the testing in half the time." I said, "Oh, no problem. No, I can do it in a quarter of the time. I can do it. You know what? I don't test at all. Then you save a lot of time." And then he said, no. But then we don't know the quality. Yeah, but if you want to know the quality, I need the time that I first got. If you want to know half the quality, now you want to have half an idea of what the quality is, then I can do it in half the time. Keep looking tough. Hey, why do you use these test design techniques? It takes a lot of time. Hey, wait a minute, I'm a professional. Keep looking tough. Second one is, testing is professional. We've heard that before, but still we need to repeat that over and over again. Maybe it's always be able to explain it, and not in terms that we among each other use, in words that the other one uses. So if you're talking to a user tester, you explain it in a different way than you're talking to a product manager or a scrum master or a developer. You change your language. Always explain in the language by the other. And that brings me to the last one. Communication is king. I heard that Tariq King was not coming, so I thought we need a new king. Communication is king. This is really very important. And if you avoid all these pitfalls, maybe you will find heaven's door.